Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Asaph Adonai. Welcome to another segment of Asaph Adonai Stories. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. As creator of the beloved Starship Enterprise and its crew, which included the heroic Captain Kirk and the logical Mr. Spock, the majority of the awards and nominations received by our guest on today's Asaph Stories throughout his career were all related to Star Trek. Our guest was credited for Star Trek during the nominations for 2 Emmy Awards and 2 Hugo Awards. One of the Hugo Awards was a special award for the series itself, and the other was for the episode The Menagerie, which used footage from the original unaired pilot called The Cage. We're talking about Eugene Wesley Roddenberry, known to the world as the incomparable Gene Roddenberry. Gene, born 1921, was an American television screenwriter, producer, and the creator of the original Star Trek series and its first spin-off, The Next Generation. Born in El Paso, Texas, Gene flew 89 combat missions in the United States Army Air Forces during World War II. He wrote scripts for the American Western series Have Gun Will Travel and other series before producing his own series, the American television series called The Lieutenant. He hit his stride with his most iconic series, Star Trek, which premiered in 1966 and ran on NBC for 3 seasons.
But I'd always thought to myself, not enough characterization, not enough motivation. Perhaps I could use this as an excuse to go to those far-off planets with little polka-dotted people if necessary, and be able to talk about love, war, nature, God, sex, all those things that go to make up the excitement of the human condition. And maybe the TV censors would let it pass because it all seems so make-believe. So instead of a space western, I delivered a very different kind of story.
It followed the interstellar adventures of Captain James T. Kirk and his crew aboard the starship USS Enterprise, a space exploration vessel built by the United Federation of Planets in the 23rd century. In creating Star Trek, highlights include the 1973 Star Trek, the animated series, 6 feature films, the motion picture, The Wrath of Khan, The Search for Spock, The Voyage Home, The Final Frontier, and The Undiscovered Country. Roddenberry unleashed a phenomenon in which Star Trek enthusiasts became a veritable cult, numbering physicists, aerospace engineers, housewives, senators, children, teachers, and intellectuals, all affectionately called Trekkies. At Gene's homegoing, he was survived by his wife, actress Majel Barrett, known to the world as Nurse Chapel. We'll be talking about her in the next Asaph Adonai story. Gene became the first TV writer with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and affectionately referred to as the great bird of the galaxy, but he'll always be best remembered for creating Star Trek. I am your host, Asaph Adonai. Until our next show, Maranatha.
Social fashions change, economics never do. By the time we got into the series, a money crunch was on, and we folded our pilot into another story, which you know as The Menagerie, the 2-part movie. That's how Captain Kirk met Christopher Pike and learned of his tragic fate. In the film that follows, parts are in color, parts are in black and white. The color footage was used in The Menagerie. The parts that are black and white are all that is left from the first pilot. Now we'll roll the story that Kirk never saw, our unseen pilot, The Cage.